Sagittarius. Their lies cannot survive the light you carry now. Sagittarius, your journey has been one of truth. Even when the world tried to deceive you, even when people wrapped their words in charm or cloaked their intentions in shadows, some part of you always sensed the difference. You may have doubted yourself at times, wondering if you were too suspicious, too hopeful, too forgiving. But deep down, your spirit has always known one thing. Truth cannot be hidden forever. You carry within you a fire that is not just warmth, but illumination. It exposes what is false. It reveals what is hidden. It shines into places where deception once thrived, leaving no room for lies to survive. Those who once thought they could mask their intentions, manipulate your trust, or bury the truth beneath sweet words are now being undone. Not by confrontation, but by the light you carry. Their lies cannot withstand it. They unravel, they crumble. They fade away when held up to the radiance of your clarity. Sagittarius, you are stepping into a new season where truth will be your shield and your sword. You will no longer be deceived by masks, no longer held captive by illusions. The light within you is too strong, and those who cannot live in that light will reveal themselves, not because you seek it, but because they cannot hide from you anymore. If these words stir something within you, stay with me. And if your spirit feels aligned with this message, I invite you to like, share, and subscribe. Not as a ritual, but as a way of affirming, I choose truth. I carry light, and no lie can survive me now. Gate 1. When deception once held power. Sagittarius, for much of your journey, you have carried a heart so open, so eager to see the best in others, that deception sometimes slipped past your defenses. Your nature is hopeful, you want to believe that people mean what they say, that loyalty is real, that love is honest. And because of this, you may have overlooked red flags, silenced the unease in your spirit, or forgiven too quickly. At times, this led to heartbreak so sharp it felt like the ground vanished beneath your feet. Think back to those moments when lies touched your life. Perhaps it was a partner who swore their devotion while their actions told another story. Perhaps it was a friend who smiled to your face but carried envy in their heart. Perhaps it was a family member or mentor who promised to guide and protect you, only to betray your trust when you needed it most. The pain of these revelations cut deeper than simple disappointment. They shook your faith in humanity, in your own ability to judge character, even in your worth. I once listened to a Sagittarius woman named Elise describe her experience with betrayal. She had been in a relationship where she poured her heart fully, believing every word her partner spoke. He always told me I was safe with him, she said. But when the truth surfaced, I realized I had been living in a carefully crafted illusion. For months she wrestled with anger, shame, and grief. But what struck me most was when she added, I thought I had lost everything. But really what I lost was the illusion. The truth was painful, but it was also freeing. Sagittarius, this is the gift hidden inside the wound. Lies may wound you, but they cannot last. They carry within them the seed of their own collapse. The moment your light grows strong enough, deception cannot survive. And your light is growing now, brighter than it has ever been. You see, lies depend on darkness. They depend on your willingness to doubt yourself, to silence your intuition, to look away from inconsistencies. But you are no longer the person who ignores whispers from your spirit. The storms you've walked through have sharpened you. The heartbreaks you've survived have trained your eyes to notice what once slipped by. You now see patterns, you hear the tone beneath the words, you sense the energy behind the actions. Lies that once deceived you now stand exposed in the glow of your awareness. Another Sagittarius, a man named Adrian, told me how he once trusted a business partner who seemed loyal and sincere. 4 years they worked side by side, until one day Adrian discovered financial dishonesty that had been hidden in plain sight. At first, he was consumed with regret for not seeing it sooner. But with time he realized that his intuition had always known. He had simply chosen to trust the mask. The truth was there, he said. I just wasn't ready to see it. But once I was, the lies collapsed instantly. This is your story too, Sagittarius. Lies may have fooled you in the past, but only because your light was still growing. You had lessons to learn, strength to build, clarity to gain. Now that season is over. The fire inside you has risen, and it radiates outward as light that cannot be dimmed. Lies cannot survive in that light. They may try, but they unravel the moment they enter your orbit. And here is the deeper truth. You do not even need to expose them yourself. Your very presence does the work. When you live authentically, when you walk in truth, when you carry yourself with integrity, you create an atmosphere where deception cannot breathe. Those who once tried to manipulate you will find themselves revealed. Not because you fought them, but because your light leaves no shadow for them to hide in. Sagittarius, this is not about becoming suspicious or hard-hearted. Your gift is not cynicism. It is discernment. You still carry the hope, the generosity, the belief in goodness that defines you. But now it is paired with wisdom. You no longer give your trust blindly. You give it wisely, watching not only what people say but how they align with their words. You no longer silence your intuition. You honor it as your compass. And because of this, deception no longer has the same power over you. The lies that once wounded you are now your teachers. They taught you to trust yourself. They taught you to listen to your instincts. They taught you that truth, no matter how painful, is always kinder than illusion. And now you carry this wisdom as light. A light that not only protects you from deception, but also empowers you to live fully in your own truth. So do not fear the shadows, Sagittarius. Do not fear the masks that still linger around you. Their time is short. Their power is fading. Because the light you carry now is too strong, too pure, too relentless. Lies cannot survive it. They unravel, they collapse, they vanish, and all that remains is truth, guiding you forward into freedom. Gate 2: the weight of truth and the healing of the heart. Sagittarius, when lies unravel, they do not leave you untouched. Even when you sense them coming, even when your intuition has whispered warnings for months, the moment of revelation is still heavy. It is the sharp inhale when you realize the words you believed were hollow. It is the sinking feeling when trust, once sacred, crumbles into dust. And it is the ache of seeing someone you once cherished stripped of their mask, revealing a face you barely recognize. This pain is real and you must honor it. Too often, people rush to tell themselves, "It doesn't matter," or "I should have known better." But denial is not healing. Sagittarius, your heart is vast, and when it breaks wide. Betrayal cuts into the deepest places of your spirit, the parts that believed, that hoped, that dared to see the best in another. Do not belittle your grief. Grief is proof that you loved. Grief is proof that you trusted. And while lies may shatter illusions, they cannot erase the beauty of your openness. I once spoke with a Sagittarius man named Julian who had been deceived by a close friend. They had shared years of laughter, secrets, and loyalty, or so Julian thought. When he discovered the truth, that his friend had been quietly undermining him to others, Julian felt both fury and sorrow. "It wasn't just the betrayal," he said. "It was the loss of the friendship I thought I had. That person never really existed, at least not the way I imagined." His words capture the strange duality of revelation. You grieve not only what was lost, but also what never truly was. Sagittarius, this dual grief can weigh heavily. It tempts you to close your heart, to build walls so high that no one can reach you again. But you must remember, your heart is not meant to be barricaded. It is meant to be discerning. There is a difference between protection and isolation. When you carry the light of truth, you do not need to lock yourself away. You simply need to trust your own vision enough to see clearly who belongs beside you and who does not. Another Sagittarius, Layla, learned this after her divorce. She had spent years believing in promises that were never honored, choosing to hold on to hope rather than admit the reality. When the truth became undeniable, she was devastated. For months she told herself she could never trust again. But slowly, she realized that closing her heart was not strength. It was surrender to fear. "I thought protecting myself meant never loving again," she told me. "But I realized the real protection is knowing how to see. Now I trust myself more than I trust words. And because of that, I can open my heart without fear." This is the healing path for you, Sagittarius. The lies that once wounded you are no longer your prison. They are your teachers. They have trained your heart not to close but to sharpen. They have shown you that your worth was never tied to someone else's honesty. They have given you the clarity to see that betrayal says more about the deceiver than it ever did about you. And here is the paradox. The very pain that once threatened to break you has expanded your compassion. Because you have known what it feels like to be deceived, you are gentler with others who stumble. Because you have felt the sting of falsehood, you cherish honesty more fiercely. Because you have walked through grief, You can sit with others in theirs without rushing them toward false comfort. This is the alchemy of Sagittarius. You transform even heartbreak into wisdom that shines for others. But make no mistake, compassion does not mean tolerating deception. It does not mean excusing betrayal or pretending it did not wound you. Compassion means understanding without allowing harm to continue. It means seeing the brokenness in others without sacrificing yourself to fix it. It means holding your boundaries with firmness and love, knowing that your light cannot be dimmed by someone else's shadow unless you allow it. Sagittarius, your fire is rising into a place of balance now. You no longer swing between blind trust and total withdrawal. Instead, you stand steady, heart open but eyes clear, willing to love but unwilling to be deceived. This is a sacred strength, the strength of living in truth. And when you embody this, something remarkable happens. Lies simply cannot cling to you anymore. They unravel in your presence, not because you force them to, but because your energy makes hiding impossible. This is why your journey through betrayal has been so important. It was never about punishment. It was about refinement. Without these trials, your fire might have remained naive, trusting without discernment. With them, your fire has become discerning without bitterness. That balance is rare, Sagittarius. That balance is power. So honor the weight of truth when it arrives. Grieve the illusions that die. Feel the sting of betrayal fully, and then release it. Because your heart was never meant to be heavy forever. It was meant to carry wisdom, compassion, and courage. And now, as you stand in the light you carry, you are stronger than the lies that once hurt you. Sagittarius, you are not defined by the deception you endured. You are defined by the light that exposes it, the fire that transforms it, the heart that heals through it. And as you move forward, remember, your compassion and your discernment are not contradictions. They are the perfect harmony of a soul who has walked through shadow and chosen light. Gate 3, turning revelation into empowerment. Sagittarius, one of your greatest gifts is your ability to transform pain into wisdom, and wisdom into power. The lies that once wounded you are not scars to hide. They are proof of your growth, reminders that you now walk with eyes wide open. When someone tries to deceive you today, they are not facing the same Sagittarius they once knew. They are facing a soul sharpened by fire, a light so strong it makes falsehoods dissolve before they can take root. But let's pause here, because empowerment is not about revenge. It is not about proving to those who lied that you are stronger. It is not about exposing them or humiliating them. Empowerment is quieter, deeper. It is choosing not to give your energy to deception anymore. It is walking away from manipulation without hesitation. It is refusing to shrink, to doubt yourself, or to silence your truth. Empowerment is not about what you do to others. It is about how fully you live in your own light. I remember a Sagittarius man named Victor, who discovered that his business partner had been misusing company funds. Years before, such a betrayal might have crushed him, left him paralyzed with self-doubt. But this time something had shifted. I didn't need to fight or prove anything, he told me. I simply removed myself, rebuilt, and kept moving forward. His light was so steady, so undeniable, that the lies of his partner collapsed on their own. Victor's empowerment was not in confrontation, but in clarity. Clarity that allowed him to walk away with dignity and build something stronger. Sagittarius, this is your power now. You no longer need to exhaust yourself trying to force truth into the open. Lies unravel naturally in your presence, because your energy carries too much honesty for deception to survive. Your task is simply to honor that truth when it reveals itself, to act in alignment with what you see, and to refuse to compromise your spirit for the sake of comfort. This is where boundaries come in. Before, you may have tolerated more than you should. You gave second chances that became 10th chances. You explained away red flags, telling yourself you were just being compassionate. But now, you know that compassion without boundaries is self-betrayal. Your fire has taught you that saying no is not cruelty. It is respect. Respect for yourself, respect for your energy, respect for the truth you now embody. Think of boundaries as the natural expression of your light. They are not walls meant to isolate you. They are filters that protect your fire. They ensure that only those who resonate with truth can remain close. And here's the beauty. Once you set these boundaries, you no longer attract the same kinds of deception. The very frequency of your energy shifts. Those who thrive in lies find themselves repelled, while those who honor authenticity are drawn to you. I think of Naomi, a Sagittarius who once struggled with toxic friendships. She surrounded herself with people who drained her, who thrived on drama, who pretended to care while quietly competing with her. I thought that's just how friendships were, she admitted. But as she healed, she began setting firm boundaries. She stopped answering every late-night call filled with gossip. She stopped saying yes when her spirit screamed no. And over time those toxic friends drifted away. At first I felt lonely, Naomi said. But soon the right people started showing up, the ones who celebrated me without envy, who loved me without agenda. Her light had shifted, and so had her circle. Sagittarius, this is what happens when you turn revelation into empowerment. Your relationships transform. You no longer beg for loyalty. It comes naturally from those who align with your energy. You no longer settle for half-truths. You attract honesty because your own honesty is unwavering. You no longer tolerate manipulation. You surround yourself with souls who know that authenticity is the only currency you accept. And this empowerment extends beyond relationships. It touches every corner of your life. Lies once told you that you weren't good enough, that your dreams were too big, that you had to settle for less. But your rising light burns through those lies as well. You begin to see clearly that you are capable, that your dreams are divine assignments, that you were never meant to live small. The lies of society, of fear, of doubt, they cannot survive your fire. This clarity creates boldness. You start making choices that once terrified you. You leave jobs that suffocate your spirit. You end cycles of self-betrayal. You pursue passions that ignite you. Not recklessly, but with the steady courage of someone who knows their light is real and unstoppable. This is empowerment, living aligned with truth, refusing to compromise, refusing to dim. But let me remind you, Sagittarius, empowerment does not mean perfection. There will still be moments when lies attempt to creep in, moments when your heart wants to believe in someone's mask. That is natural. What matters is that you no longer stay trapped. You no longer linger in illusions. You see the truth faster, you trust yourself sooner, you walk away stronger. Each time your fire grows brighter, your discernment sharper, your empowerment deeper. And here is the most profound part. Your empowerment becomes a mirror for others. People see you standing in your light and realize they too can stand in theirs. They watch you refuse to shrink for lies and feel inspired to stop shrinking for theirs. They see your courage to set boundaries and begin setting their own. Sagittarius, your empowerment is not selfish. It is service. By living your truth, you liberate others to live theirs. So the next time deception brushes against your life, remember, it cannot survive you anymore. You are not who you once were. You are light, and lies dissolve in light. Stand tall, carry your fire, honor your boundaries, and watch as every falsehood falls away. This is your empowerment. This is your truth. And no lie can survive it. Gate 4, manifesting a life built on truth. Sagittarius, your journey through lies, betrayal, and revelation has not been wasted. Every heartbreak, every disappointment, every painful unveiling has been a chiseling away of illusion. What remains now is the purest version of you. Fiery, authentic, radiant with light that cannot be dimmed. And this light, stronger than ever before, is the very force that will guide you into your destiny. You see, lies are not only external. For years, you may have carried lies within yourself. False beliefs planted by society, family, or past wounds. Lies that told you, you are not enough. Your dreams are unrealistic. You should settle for less. These inner shadows once held power over you, shaping your choices, keeping you confined. But as your light has risen, these lies too have begun to crumble. Now, you no longer live under their weight. You see yourself clearly, and this clarity is the foundation upon which you will build the life you deserve. Consider how this transformation ripples outward. When you no longer accept lies, you no longer settle for half-hearted relationships. You attract people who match your energy, souls who are unafraid of honesty, who stand in their own truth, who celebrate your fire rather than compete with it. These are the companions of your destiny, the ones who will walk beside you into the future. Relationships rooted in truth do not drain you. They fuel you. They become sacred spaces where your light expands rather than contracts. I once met a Sagittarius woman named Amara, who had endured years of manipulation in a relationship. Her partner constantly lied, weaving just enough sweetness into his words to keep her hopeful. When she finally broke free, she told me, "I thought I would never trust again." But as she healed, she discovered that her light had grown stronger, not weaker. She began setting boundaries, listening to her intuition, and refusing to entertain dishonesty. Eventually, she met someone whose integrity matched her own. "It feels different," she said. "There's no performance, no guessing, no pretending. Just truth. Just light." That is the kind of love Sagittarius is destined for. Not illusions but authenticity. And it's not only in love. Lies once shaped your career choices too, didn't they? Lies that said security matters more than passion, that practicality matters more than joy, that you should be grateful for less than what your spirit craves. But your fire is no longer willing to accept these limitations. You feel it, the restlessness, the push to step into work that matters, that aligns with your soul's truth. This is destiny calling. It may not look conventional. It may not make sense to everyone around you, but it will be real. And Sagittarius, you thrive when you live in what is real. Another Sagittarius, Elias, once told me how he abandoned his dream of becoming a healer because his family pressured him into a respectable profession. For years he worked a job that drained him, but after surviving a devastating health crisis, he realized he could no longer live a lie. He returned to his true calling, training as a therapist and energy worker. Today, he lives with a sense of purpose he never knew before. "The lies nearly killed me," he said. "But once I chose truth, I started to really live." His story is yours as well. The lies that once imprisoned you are gone, and the truth you carry is guiding you toward a destiny that feels alive. Sagittarius, the life you are manifesting now is not one built on illusion. It is built on light. And light brings expansion. You will find yourself exploring new horizons, stepping into opportunities you once thought impossible, meeting people who feel like soul family. You will notice how synchronicities align in your favor, how doors open where walls once stood. This is not coincidence, it is resonance. When you live in truth, the universe responds. It matches your vibration, drawing to you the life that belongs to your fire. Of course, this path requires courage. It means letting go of comfort zones that feel safe but false. It means risking the unknown, trusting your intuition even when logic resists. It means refusing to compromise your soul for temporary ease. But Sagittarius, courage is your element. You were never meant to play it safe. You were meant to blaze trails, to expand into the unknown, to live with a spirit that inspires others to rise. And as you walk this path, remember, your light not only protects you from lies, it attracts truth. You will notice how you begin to crave authenticity in every aspect of your life. In your conversations, in your work, in your relationships, even in the way you care for yourself. Pretenses will feel unbearable. Half-truths will feel heavy. Only honesty, transparency, and soul-deep connection will satisfy you. This is not because you are demanding, it is because you are aligned. Sagittarius, your destiny is not to be consumed by shadows, but to transform them. Your fire does not only expose lies, it transmutes them into wisdom. Every betrayal you've endured has taught you compassion. Every illusion you've released has given you clarity. Every storm you've survived has made your flame burn brighter. And now, as you step fully into this new chapter, you are not only living in truth, you are becoming truth. So walk boldly, speak honestly, dream expansively, love fearlessly. This is the life you are meant to live. A life built on light so strong that no lie, no shadow, no deception can survive it. This is your empowerment, your freedom, your destiny. Sagittarius, the light you carry now is not just for you. It is for the world. And the world needs it. The triumph of your light. Sagittarius, you have walked through the darkness of deception, endured the sting of betrayal, and faced the grief of seeing masks fall from faces you once trusted. These experiences cut deeply, but they did not destroy you. Instead, they awakened something powerful within you. The light of truth, the fire of clarity, the unshakable strength of discernment. The lies that once held power over you cannot touch you anymore. You no longer live in illusion, no longer silence your intuition, no longer shrink to accommodate falsehoods. Your light has grown too radiant for shadows to hide within. And as you walk forward, this light becomes your shield and your compass. It protects you from deception, guides you toward authenticity, and magnetizes the life you were always meant to live. But your light is not only for protection, it is for creation. It is the force that will shape relationships rooted in honesty, work aligned with your passion, and a future built entirely on truth. Those who cannot meet you in this light will fall away. Those who can will rise beside you. And in this sacred filtering, your destiny becomes clear. So stand tall, Sagittarius. Do not fear the revelation of shadows. Do not mourn the collapse of illusions. Celebrate instead the brilliance of your fire, for it has made you free. Their lies cannot survive the light you carry now. And this light, your eternal gift, will continue to guide you, protect you, and inspire every soul who dares to walk in its glow. If these words resonate, I invite you to like, share, and subscribe, not as routine, but as a declaration that you choose light over shadow, truth over illusion, destiny over fear. For Sagittarius, your light is not just rising. It is unstoppable.